The greatest animal on land, the African elephant. These beauties have moved from the African savanna to Southern California to teach us about their biology. This knowledge is being used to help save wild elephants. What we learn here at Elephant Valley might change how we see elephants forever. This is the elephant of the future.
Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animalogic.
When thinking of elephant research, sunny Southern California might not be the first place that comes to mind. But deep within its picturesque landscapes, there's a place that's leading the pack when it comes to elephant welfare. This is the San Diego Safari Park. Recently, we had the chance to visit and get up close with their elephants and the people who care for them, and the scientists who are using the latest technological tools to learn about elephants and use that knowledge to support conservation efforts. But before we really get into it, let's start with why they're doing it. Elephants are some of the smartest, cutest, and most charismatic animals in the world. They're the largest land animals on Earth and have been part of human life since its beginnings. It's high praise, and it's not even a little bit surprising to hear about how amazing elephants are. Elephants are quite simply undeniable, and they're not only important to us, but also to all animals in their ecosystem. Elephants maintain savannas by breaking down branches, thorny bushes, and old trees. This keeps the grasslands from getting overgrown. This keeps the land optimal for grazing animals, which in turn helps the predators that rely on those herbivores to survive. When they dig for water, they create watering holes that are used by other animals. And as they walk vast distances, they spread seeds through their nutrient-rich dung. Their dung is processed by animals like dung beetles, which spread it out even further and fertilize the soil. At a social level, they live in complex matriarchies with a leader in charge of navigating the savanna, finding food, and leading migrations. They communicate with each other through a combination of sounds, low-frequency rumblings, and body language. When a member of the herd dies, the other members seem to grieve and spend time around the remains of their deceased relative and comfort each other. But unfortunately, we humans haven't been as great to elephants as they deserve. Growing human populations have led to increased farmland usage and conflict with elephants. Elephants sometimes walk over the farms while on their migrations in search of food and water. This makes the farmers retaliate. At the same time, the construction of communities, fences, and roads is fragmenting elephant habitats. This makes it harder for them to make their migrations and access food and water, and by splitting up populations, it weakens their genetic diversity. The illegal wildlife trade continues to be a problem in large parts of their range. And finally, climate change is causing longer droughts, changing rainfall patterns, and making elephants compete with humans for ever-shrinking pockets of vegetation in Africa. Because of all of these issues, elephants are now an endangered species. Okay, so what do we do about it? It's a big question, and big questions don't have one simple answer, but a number of complex, complementary answers. We're here at Elephant Valley to find some of those answers. One of the biggest hurdles in conservation is making people care about wildlife. People protect what they love, and getting the chance to see animals up close is one of the most direct ways of falling in love with them. Many researchers and animal lovers like myself caught our first glimpse of real-life African wildlife in places like this. And for many of us, that sense of awe and wonder remains today, as fresh as it was that distant afternoon our parents took us to discover elephants. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
I'm just watching this elephant feed itself and all of its movements and whatnot. It's just really interesting to see how flexible that trunk really is. Oh my gosh, did you see that?
They're still amazing even after 20 years. This is the important part. Data alone doesn't change behavior, so the goal is that visitors will see these elephants and feel empathy, and that empathy turns into conservation action. But of course, it has to be good for the elephants too. We've all seen pictures of animals in not so great conditions at zoos around the world. But I think that's what sets Elephant Valley apart. The habitat is meant to look and feel like the African savanna. The plants are the same they would encounter in the wild. The trees make elephants walk around them to get to the watering holes and food sources. And the elevated feeders entertain elephants while they eat. And the fun thing is that everything is edible. All the berries and leaves are nutritious to elephants, so elephants can have fun exploring different types of snacks. And even though the habitat is huge, you can see them from up close from pretty much anywhere. You can see both their humongous biology and their complex social dynamics. This is where the second answer to the question, what to do about elephant conservation, comes in. Elephant Valley is part of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, a nonprofit group working to protect animals all over the world. Researchers get access to elephants and can monitor all sorts of data, from feeding patterns to growth rates, to health markers in blood, to the social drama elephants are constantly embroiled in. This, of course, is a huge advantage over studying wild animals that move around huge areas of land and can't be monitored as closely. A key part of the research is that the elephants are willing participants. Trainers build a trust with them, but they can walk away at any time. Elephants aren't above a little bribery, and some delicious, healthy snacks bring all the boys to the yard. And by boys, I do mean girls. We're going to show you how some of the training and experiments done here take place. We got exclusive access to see how the team gets all their data.
So right now, they're calling the elephants over because it's time for a session. And they do know their names. So it's Mgani and Makaya, mother and a daughter.
Daddy!
These are going to be the first ones we see. Oh, she's coming.
So here comes Makaya. She's
Makaya?
always very excited for a training session. And then
look at
Mgani's
her,
coming
she's
right behind her.
beautiful.
Mgani is beautiful. She is kind of our supermodel mom here at the safari park. She's got those nice
wow.
long tusks.
Part of the work is teaching the elephants to have fun cooperating when they're getting their checkups.
This is a mouth open. So this is a great behavior to see the health of their teeth, their tongue. If we need to give medication, we train them to swallow pills. Yeah, so we can do a turn and we can check their tail. You can put a blood pressure cuff on their tail. We can take measurements of the tail. You can do a ton of different behaviors. This is a lean in that they're both doing now. So from a lean in, we can see their ears.
Okay.
You can see those very large veins.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
wow.
So the veins can be about the diameter of your thumb, and that's where we can draw blood voluntarily from these elephants. So Makaya gets a blood sample every other week. We have participated in EEHV studies.
Look at those blood vessels.
So we can measure anything, basically. So when these calves were born, we really took a ton of data, everything. When their first tusk erupted, how long the tusks are at a certain age, the first time they're eating solid food. So really just collecting as much data as we can to answer, unanswered questions about elephant. They just did a milk sample on her.
Oh, no
Collected
way.
some milk.
We have
Little bit.
elephant milk.
Yeah, so she's still nursing, even at 7 years old.
That's kind of shocking to me. I've never heard of how long elephants nurse for.
Yeah.
But 7 years, that's a long time.
7 years is a pretty long time. They can go 4 to 6 years, but the team can collect milk voluntarily anytime.
That's amazing.
Have you ever seen an elephant nurse? I was shocked to find out how they do it.
There's the mammary gland there, how they
Ah.
take milk.
Oh, those are very forward.
It's, right under the arms. You wouldn't think that. You would think like udders like a cow, but
So their milk line starts up there and goes all the way down?
no, it's just the 2 mammaries under the armpits.
2 mammaries?
Yep, just 2 mammaries.
Okay.
Yep.
And how would you guess they study the inside of their trunks?
So this is a practice trunk wash. In the trunk, we'll pour saline,
Okay.
and then we'll raise their trunk up so the saline flushes down the trunk, and then they'll blow it into a bag. So we can do that to test for a variety of different things.
One of the coolest technologies they're studying is using drones to gauge the physical conditions of elephants, both in human care and in the wild.
Here we're going to be measuring the height of the elephants, the length of the elephants. We also have drones here at the safari park that we can use, and so they can use drone footage out in the wild to look at an elephant from up above and maybe be able to see what the body mass index of that elephant is, the health of that elephant, that we can then compare with our elephants here with the known knowledge that we have here.
Studying social groups here can help conservationists and park rangers manage wild herds in Africa. Understanding how different diets, degrees of stress, and levels of activity affect the elephant's health can be applied to support elephants in the wild and under human care. All of their findings are shared with conservation groups like Save the Elephants, the Kenya Wildlife Service, and the Northern Rangelands Trust, which means that all of this research is not done just out of our scientific curiosity, but with the specific goal of helping elephants in the wild. And likewise, those organizations share their knowledge with the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance to improve the quality of life of the elephants here. The long-term success of any conservation initiative depends on engaging the local communities, helping them tear down some of the barriers they have for conservation, and preventing conflict with wildlife. Some of the ways that this is being done is by creating wildlife corridors for elephants and establishing early warning signs so that farmers can redirect elephants before they come to their crops. It's all amazing stuff that hopefully will make the elephants of the future have better lives, and it's partly coming from research in places like this.
I just want to say a heartfelt thank you to the San Diego Safari Park for accommodating us here, showing us their work with the elephants, and really just bringing us in close to the magic that this species really is. So what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching, and see ya! She's stealing from his mouth, her mouth. Looks like she's smiling like a little trickster.